Dear students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Angiosperm Morphology course. We were discussing the chapter on stem. In this video, we are again going to classify stem, and this classification of the stem or the plants, it is based on age or lifespan or the duration of the plant, that how long a plant lives. So we can classify them into three basic types, as it was in the case of habit: herbs, shrubs and trees. So annuals, biennials and perennials, and this classification is based on the length of life of a plant, how long a plant lives. Annuals, biennials and perennials. So what are annuals? They live for single growing season. Now annual, as the word indicates, it usually refers to 1 year. Now 1 year means almost 12 months. Now a plant doesn't live for 12 months, or it doesn't live that long. It is actually the growing season. Now growing season may last for few months or even a couple of months in certain very extreme environments, like in Arctic zone or in desert conditions. In Arctic, for example, the growing season or the spring is very short, and similarly in deserts, the spring or the growing season, it consists of just few weeks. So that is the growing season. Now it may be a month or two, or it may be 4 or 5 months, 6 months. So it depends upon the plants, but it is never a year. It is never 1 year. The plant usually doesn't remain alive that long. So we usually refer to annual plant as the one which grows for a growing season. In most cases it starts late in winter, as the seedlings start growing, and in the spring it flowers, and the seeds and the fruit are set, and the plant perishes. So it is just few months in most cases. So one growing season, and after which the plant perishes. Obviously, how this plant survives for the next season, so they produce fruit and seeds, and these seeds remain in the soil, and what we call them the seed bank. They constitute the seed bank, and in next year those seeds germinate and develop into new plant, and the cycle is repeated. The annuals are mostly herbaceous. In the previous video we saw herbs, shrubs and trees. So herbaceous plants are mostly annuals, and it's very large number. You can name any plant. There are many examples. Few of them are given here, like poppy and tomato, wheat, rice, and all the wild plants that usually grow during spring. They are almost always annuals. Most of the grasses like Polypogon, Monospliensis, the Chenopodium species, the Amaranthus, and many others which are annuals. So this was discussion of the annual plant. Next are the biennials. Biennials remain alive for 2 growing seasons, and at the end of the second growing season the plant perishes or it dies. What the plant does during these 2 seasons? So in the first season, what happens, that they usually develop leaves and stem. That is, the vegetative part of the plant develops in the first season, and they usually at the end of the season they store up food mostly in their roots, which are thick tap roots. We have already discussed those in the root chapter, the tuberous taproot. So in the first season, in the very first season, the plant mostly remains vegetative. That is, it does not produce any flowers or seeds, no sexual reproduction, and it simply remains vegetative. And at the end of the season, the food is stored in the roots, which become thick and fleshy tuberous taproots. And the aerial part of the plant, it dies away at the end of the season. For example, if the plants were grown uh, during winter or during autumn, whatever the season might be. And then as the season progresses, the vegetative parts of the plants grow, the plant becomes in full swing, but it does not produce flowers, no seeds and no fruits. And at the end of that season, the first season, it stores up food in the taproot. And when the season ends, for example, when the spring ends, the plant simply dies. However, these roots remain alive and they remain underground. In the next season, what happens? That is the following season. The food that was stored in the taproot, it is utilized to produce aerial shoot. Now this aerial shoot, what it does, that it produces flowers and fruits. So the first season is vegetative and the second season is reproductive. It produces flowers and fruits, and then the plant dies after that. That is, after setting fruits and seeds, the plant simply perishes. The food in the tap roots is also consumed, it is also used up, and they also disappear. And these are the common plants. These two belong to family Brassicaceae, and this is the Apiaceae, carrot family. So carrot, turnip, radish, these are three common plants which are biennials. That is, they live for 2 seasons. But biennial plants are few in number, and there are few examples like these plants. Next are the perennials, those plants which live for several seasons or several years or many seasons. And these several or many, it varies according to the age of plant. It may be 10, 20 or 30 years, or it may be thousands of years. It depends upon the plant. And what these plants do, that they produce seeds every season. Fruits and seeds are produced every season, that is annual, and they have their own seasons. Fruit setting seasons in some plants is winter, in others it is summer, and so on. So it depends upon the plant, spring or summer or winter, whatever the case might be. Now, what are the perennial plants? So almost all the woody plants, they are perennials. Like trees, for example, a mango tree or a eucalyptus tree and other trees. All the trees, they are perennials. And we have also seen during discussion of herbs, shrubs and trees that some of the herbs are also perennials, although the herbs are mostly annuals, but some of them are perennials. And why they are perennials? Like these ginger and asparagus, dahlia, etc., that their aerial parts die during winter, but they store up food in the underground parts, especially the underground stem or underground root, and that root survives and it gives aerial shoot during the next season. And in this way the plant perinates. Otherwise, the aerial parts of the plant, they does not live for several years or many years. This is actually the underground part which make the plant perennial. So herbaceous plants are mostly annuals, but they become perennial because of these underground parts which survive the harsh weather, and then they give rise to aerial shoot in the next season, and in this way the plant perinates. So trees, you can give any example of the perennials. Shrubs, they are all perennials, and herbaceous plants are these. So this was a discussion of, or the classification of plants according to their age or lifespan or duration, that how long a plant survives or lives. And they produce aerial shoots in the following spring. Next is some descriptive terms of the stem, what we also call the types of stems. So these are terms when we describe a plant and when we describe its stem. So these terms are frequently used. So herbaceous. So what are herbaceous stems? They are soft and green, which can be easily bent or broken. And all the herbaceous plants like these brassica and buttercup and poppy and wheat and rice and all these plants, they are herbaceous. Grasses, they are all herbs. They have soft stem, green stem, and the stems are not hard or rigid. They can be easily bent or broken. Next is the woody. The stem is very hard in texture, and we have also seen this herbaceous above and woody below, like in Calotropis, and we have seen the term that is used for such plants, suffrutescent. But woody is something different, that all the plant is woody from the base to the top. So all the stem and all the branches, they are woody, and woody is found in trees and most of the shrubs. Then we have fistular stem, those stem in which the internodes are hollow, and this is in bamboo, also in grasses like saccharum, spontaneum. These are tall grasses, and the stem of this is used in our area for writing with ink on wooden boards, what we call takhti and kalam. So internodes are hollow in bamboo. If you cut the section of the stem, so the stem is hollow from inside. So internodes hollow, such a stem is known as fistular. And solid, which is not hollow. So most of the trees, the stem is solid, woody. So these are different terms. Herbaceous and woody, they are texture of the stem, and fistular and solid indicate whether the stem is hollow or not. Then we have jointed. In many plants, like in grasses and sugarcane, etc., and also in bamboo, the internode, the nodal part of the stem is slightly swollen like this. So this is node, and then we have another node which is swollen. So this swollen node, it gives the appearance as if these are pieces which have been united or joined together like this one. So these are nodes. So it looks like pieces bound together or joined together. So it seems as if the stem is jointed. Those jointed stems which are unbranched and hollow, they are also known as culms. So swollen at nodes, and the stem gives the appearance of as if it is jointed, made of several pieces. So it is jointed. Then we have cylindrical. If you take cross section, the stem almost appears perfectly rounded in outline, circular in outline. So this is what we call cylindrical. Straight and round, the stem is mostly, it goes straight up in the air, and it is circular in TS or transverse section. So in rose, jasmine flower, they are all cylindrical stem. So we have herbaceous, soft and green, easily bent or broken. Then we have woody, hard in texture, and then we have fistular, which is hollow at internodes, and then solid, which is not hollow at the internodes, which is solid, and jointed when the nodes are swollen somewhat, and it gives the appearance as if the stem is made of small pieces. So jointed, like in arthropods, they are known as arthropods, jointed legs. Then we have cylindrical, the stem is mostly straight and it is circular in outline in TS. Then we have angular. Angular stems are those which have alternate ridges and furrows. So this is ridge and furrow, so it creates those angles, as you can see. So this is alternate ridges and furrow in Ocimum, Ocimum centum, Ocimum basilicum. These are the two common plants grown as ornamentals of family Labiatae or Lamiaceae. Flatten, when the stem becomes leaf-like, flat, plate-like or leaf-like, as in Opuntia, very common example like this. So it has these prickly leaf-like structure. These are modified leaves. So this is Opuntia. So it is a flat stem, totally flat. It is somewhat fleshy. So flat and plate-like or leaf-like, as in Opuntia. Then we have glaucous and glabrous. Now these two terms have a subtle difference. When the surface is smooth and shiny, it is glaucous. When it is smooth but not shiny, it is glabrous. So this is a small difference, subtle difference between these two terms. When there is a shine and also smoothness, it is glaucous. But when the stem is smooth but it is not shiny and there are also no hairs on it, so it is glabrous. Shiny, it's mostly found in bamboo, glabrous in brassica and other plants when there are no hairs. Succulent, when the stem is thick and fleshy. The opuntia is also succulent, it is flattened as well as succulent. Euphorbia rhyelina, a common thick stem, it has a very thick stem outline somewhat like this. So this Euphorbia rhyelina with spines on it. So this is stem, thick and fleshy. So this is Euphorbia rhyelina, also known as Dundathor. This is succulent. Hairy, when the stem surface is covered with several hairs or many hairs. So in sunflower and poppy, the stem is hairy. Now please note that a single stem may carry or may possess several properties, like in opuntia. So it is succulent as well as flattened. So similarly, a sunflower stem may be hairy and it may also be cylindrical, and it may also be solid, because it is not that if a stem is hairy it cannot be succulent or glabrous or glaucous or flattened or angular. So a stem can possess more than one characteristics or these properties that we have discussed so far. Then we have spiny stem with spines, or what we call thorns on them, like in Duranta or Acacia, and also on citrus plant, citrus family, the stem carries spines. The spines are usually modified branches, as we shall see later in the course. And we also have prickly stems, stem with prickles. Prickles are actually superficial structures, somewhat like this, as on the surface of rose. Now if you apply a small pressure with fingers, you will see that the prickles, they come off easily from the surface of the rose plant, because they are superficial. Whereas the spines, they are branches. The tip of the branch or half of the tip of the spine or half of the spine may be broken, but you cannot uproot it from the base. Whereas prickles, they are superficial epidermal structures, and they break off or they can be easily removed from the stem, from the base. So these were a few terms, descriptive terms of the stem. When we describe stem, we use these terms. So more about stem in the coming videos. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.